A federal judge in Texas could decide the fate of hundreds of thousands of dreamers today. The hearing comes just weeks before the Biden administration takes office. For years, the Trump administration has fought to dismantle the DACA program to no avail. But today, Judge Andrew Hanen of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas will deliberate whether the program, which shields young undocumented adults from deportation, is legal, and whether or not President Obama had the authority to create the program back in 2007. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez joins me now with the latest. Hi, Camilo. So, as I mentioned, the Trump administration has previously worked to find DACA unlawful in an effort to dismantle the program. Unsuccessful so far, but what makes today's hearing different than others in the past, and how much of a threat is it to the program?
Hi, good afternoon, Tanya. That's a great question. As you mentioned, DACA, a program that protects more than 640,000 undocumented immigrant adults who came to the U.S. as minors from deportation, has survived a years-long effort by the Trump administration to terminate this initiative. Several federal courts, including the Supreme Court in the summer, ruled that the Trump administration violated federal administrative law when trying to wind down DACA. But this case today in federal court in Texas is different. It's completely different. Why? Because it does not center on whether the Trump administration had the legal authority to end DACA and whether its attempt to end it was legal, but rather whether President Obama and his administration had the legal authority to create this program and whether it implemented it rather properly. Because as we know, this program was implemented through a Department of Homeland Security memo and did not go through the rulemaking process that is regularly open to public comments.
So if Judge Hanen rules DACA as unlawful, what could this mean for President-elect Biden's promise to safeguard the program under his administration? Sure.
So a ruling against Dreamers and DACA by Judge Andrew Hanen could complicate efforts by Mr. Biden to protect DACA recipients from deportation because they would be operating and benefiting from a program that a federal judge has called illegal. An appeal of an unfavorable ruling by Judge Hanen would be sent to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is arguably the most conservative appellate body in the country, and then the Supreme Court might have the final say in this litigation. And as you know, President Trump has nominated and appointed 3 Supreme Court justices during his 4 years in office. So this could be a very important case in the fate over DACA. But I think it would all depend on whether Congress has the inertia, really, to finally place this population of undocumented immigrants on a pathway to U.S. citizenship. As you know, there have been many attempts, bipartisan attempts, to do so, but they've all have failed for different reasons.
Right. All right, Camilo, pivoting to a slightly different immigration story, a group of women detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has filed a class action lawsuit against the agency, claiming they were subject to unnecessary and non-consensual procedures while being held at a Georgia detention facility. What more can you tell us about this lawsuit and the current condition of these women?
Sure. So for several months now, several current and former Immigration and Customs Enforcement detainees, all of them women, have alleged that they underwent unwanted or unnecessary medical procedures, and they all have been detained or are currently detained at a detention facility in Georgia, the Irwin Detention Facility. ICE has said that it is investigating these allegations. The Department of Homeland Security actually has 2 different investigations into these allegations, one by the Inspector General and the other by the department's leadership. This is just another point of controversy for advocates who want to see immigration detention severely limited or discontinued in its entirety by the Biden administration, which has not made that promise. As you know, immigration detention is designed to ensure that immigrants show up for their court hearings and that they're ready to be deported. They're not held because of a criminal sentence by a judge. It's not criminal custody, so it's a lot different.
Right. Camilo, before we let you go, you have some new reporting that President-elect Biden has pledged to limit ICE deportations in the future and overturn President Trump's controversial border policies regarding asylum seekers. What more can you tell us about the policies the Biden transition team plans to impose once President-elect Biden takes office?
Sure. So transition officials for the incoming Biden administration told us that they will move quickly to overturn many of Mr. Trump's hardline immigration policies, including several asylum restrictions at the U.S.-Mexico border. Those include a program to require non-Mexican migrants to wait in Mexico for the duration of their asylum claims. But they urged caution and said that these rescissions and these efforts to overturn these Trump-era policies will take time, will take several months, in fact, because of the ongoing pandemic and the number of policies that Mr. Trump implemented. The Biden transition team also reiterated Mr. Biden's pledges to implement a 100-day moratorium on ICE deportations, which would be unprecedented, Tanya. And they also pledged that the incoming Biden administration will issue new guidance narrowing who can be arrested and deported by ICE, because those guidelines that limited who ICE could arrest and deport were completely scrapped by Mr. Trump once he took office in 2017.
All right, Camilo Montoya Galvez, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your insight on these immigration stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.